भारतीय जनता पार्टी कभी लद्दाख को भूल नहीं सकती है। लद्दाख केवल हमारा मुकुट नहीं है। लद्दाख हमारा केवल मुकुट ही नहीं है बहनों भाइयों, लद्दाख और कारगिल तो हमारे जिगर का टुकड़ा है और इसे हम जिगर के एक टुकड़े के रूप में मानते हैं। यदि लद्दाख को यूनियन टेरिटरी का स्टेटस यदि नहीं मिल पा रहा है तो आर्टिकल 370 ही उसके लिए जिम्मेदार है।
लेह शहर में बहुत सी जनता यहाँ की जमा हुई थी। लगभग 30,000 लेह की तरफ आए और उन्होंने गुहार लगाई थी भारत सरकार से कि जो वादे सरकार ने की हैं उनको निभाया जाए, लद्दाख को संरक्षित किया जाए 6वें शेड्यूल में। 3 सालों से हम अनशन पर, ये 5वां बार है हमारा 5 हफ्ते का, और लेह से दिल्ली तक पैदल चले, पैरों में छाले लेकर। वचन पूरे करने तो दूर की बात, हम पर ही उत्पीड़न शुरू हो गया है।
On September 26th, Leh woke up to the news that shook Ladakh. Sonam Wangchuk, the man who built ice stupas, the innovator who reimagined education in the Himalayas, and the climate activist who became the face of Ladakh's political aspirations, was detained under the National Security Act, NSA. According to his wife, he was flown out and lodged in Jodhpur jail. But here's the question. How did a climate activist who spoke of glaciers and sustainable living end up in jail under one of India's harshest laws? And more importantly, what does all of this have to do with something called the 6th Schedule of the Indian Constitution? Let's break it down in this video. For over 3 decades, Sonam Wangchuk was not seen as a threat, but as a solution.
ऐसा तंबू, पैसिव सोलर हीटेड टेंट बनाने का जिसमें कि हमारे सैनिक आराम से रह सकें और गर्मी सूरज से हो।
His experiments with solar heated buildings and artificial glaciers became global symbols of hope against climate change. His Himalayan Institute of Alternative was envisioned as a university that would reshape higher education in the mountains. But over the last few years, the relationship between Wangchuk and the center began to sour. First, the land allotted to his institute was cancelled. Then, the CBI was sent knocking. And finally, his institute's FCRA license was revoked. And yet, Wangchuk did not back down. He began a hunger strike demanding that the center take seriously Ladakh's long-pending plea, statehood and inclusion under the 6th Schedule. By the 15th day of his fast, tensions boiled over. A group of young protesters clashed with the police. The violence turned deadly. 4 people died in police firing, dozens were injured, and Leh witnessed tear gas and arson. A BJP office was set ablaze. The government accused Wangchuk of provocative statements that had incited violence. Within days, he was arrested under the NSA, a law that allows detention without trial for up to a year. Before his arrest, Wangchuk said something almost prophetic, and I quote, "A Wangchuk in jail may cause more problems than a free Sonam Wangchuk." Now the bigger question, why are Ladakhis protesting? To understand this, we need to rewind to August 5th, 2019, the day Article 370 was revoked and Jammu and Kashmir was split into 2 union territories. In Leh, the move was initially celebrated. For decades, Buddhist majority Leh had felt ignored under JNK's politics, dominated by leaders from Jammu and Kashmir. Ladakhi MP Jamyang Sering Namgyal famously told Parliament, and I quote, "Our development, our identity, our language all got lost under Kashmir." But soon the enthusiasm faded. Why? Because while JNK was given a legislature, Ladakh was not. The region that once had 4 MLAs in the JNK assembly suddenly found itself with 0 elected representation. Decisions were now taken entirely by bureaucrats sitting in Delhi. And on top of that, the new domicile policies in JNK sparked fears in Ladakh that outsiders could eventually claim land, jobs, and dilute its fragile cultural identity and ecosystem. And yes, Leh and Kargil do have hill development councils, but their powers are minimal, mostly limited to collecting parking fees or allocating small plots of land. For real autonomy, Ladakhis have been demanding the 6th Schedule. The sixth schedule of the Constitution under Article 244 is a special provision designed to protect tribal communities in India's northeast. And here's how it works. It creates autonomous district councils, ADCs, mini parliaments of up to 30 elected members. These councils can make laws on land, forests, water, agriculture, health, sanitation, marriage and divorce, and even village-level policing. In short, they give people a say over their resources, culture and future. Currently, the sixth schedule applies to parts of Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Tripura only. Now think of it as a constitutional firewall protecting small, vulnerable communities from being overrun by outside pressures. So why Ladakh wants the sixth schedule? Ladakh checks almost every box that the sixth schedule was designed for. Over 97% of its population is tribal. Its fragile ecosystem is already under stress from climate change. Its culture, Tibetan Buddhist and Shia Muslim, is distinct and needs protection. And historically, outsiders have been barred from buying land there. Back in 2019, let me tell you, the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes itself recommended Ladakh's inclusion under the sixth schedule, citing its tribal majority and unique identity. So the big question, why hasn't it happened yet? This is the constitutional roadblock that we will look into. Here's the catch. The Constitution specifically mentions the Northeast for the sixth schedule. No other region in India has been included. Even in states like Nagaland or Arunachal Pradesh, which are entirely tribal, the sixth schedule does not apply. Instead, they have their own special protections under Article 371. For the rest of India's tribal regions, the fifth schedule applies. And technically, that's what Ladakh should fall under. As one Home Ministry official speaking to the Indian Express put it, and I quote, "Ladakh's inclusion in the sixth schedule would be difficult. The constitution is very clear. Sixth schedule is for the Northeast." So the only way Ladakh could be added, Parliament would have to amend the constitution. So what happens next? The centre had scheduled talks with Ladakh's apex body and Kargil Democratic Alliance on October 6th. But with Wangchuk in jail, 4 protesters dead and the region in shutdown, the trust deficit has widened.
हमारे एलजी साहब का कहना है कि इसमें फॉरेन हैंड था और कुछ लोग सोनम वांगचुक के ऊपर इल्ज़ाम लगा रहे हैं कि सोनम वांगचुक ने इनको भड़काया। कुछ लोग ये कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस पार्टी ने भड़काया इनको। अब कौन सी बात सही है? हमारे हिसाब से ये बिल्कुल नरेटिव जो है बिल्कुल गलत है। जो भी हुआ ये लोग इनके जेन्युइन डिमांड्स हैं। जब उन्होंने देखा कि गवर्नमेंट बिल्कुल सीरियस नहीं है, डेट जो है बहुत लंबा दिया था, इसके ऊपर बहुत गुस्सा था लोगों को। और ये अनएम्प्लॉयड यूथ थे, फ्रस्ट्रेटेड यूथ थे और ये गरीब लोग थे। यहाँ आप लद्दाख में देखते हैं बहुत अमीर लोग भी हैं जो होटेलियर्स हैं या जो बिजनेस करते हैं, इनके बच्चे मैंने वहाँ एक भी नहीं देखा। जो भी देखा मैंने गरीब घरों के बच्चे देखे जो कि अनएम्प्लॉयड हैं, एजुकेटेड हैं। तो ये जो है इसको हम कोई नाम देना नहीं चाहते हैं, लेकिन जो भी हुआ ये जवानों का गुस्सा था और इनकी जो उनको जो सुनने वाला कोई नहीं है उसको वो लोग वायलेंस के थ्रू बताना चाहते थे।
For the people of Ladakh, the fight is existential: land, jobs, culture and climate. For the government, it's about control and the fear that granting too much autonomy could spark similar demands elsewhere. We don't know. But for Sonam Wangchuk, his journey for innovator to hunger striker to prisoner is now inseparable from Ladakh's political destiny. So can Ladakh get the sixth schedule? Legally, it's difficult. Politically, it's possible, but only if the centre chooses to take that leap. That's all for now. For more such explainers and news updates, stay tuned to the Indian Express. Thank you so much for watching.